I just want to thank everyone who joined us here at My Mindful Market, brand new healthy food store here in Willoughby, Ohio. And I want to thank everyone who's joining us on Facebook Live on the Your Life Nutrition page. Thanks for all my fans on there. But I was just introduced to this awesome company, and it's just been a pleasure getting to know Garrett and Brittany. And Garrett's just going to come and say a few words here for a second. Do you mind?
Yeah. Thanks everybody for coming. We're really glad that all the seats are filled and everyone came to take advantage of such a great opportunity. We just really want to get back to the community. Really, education is a big part of health. Is just as much as it is down to the actual food. So that's why we teamed up with Brittany and give people the opportunity to come and hear all the good stuff that she has to say. So again, thanks for coming and take advantage and take some notes while you're listening. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Garrett.
So a topic that's super relevant this time of year and that it makes me a very busy dietitian is weight loss, because how many people has ever set a New Year's resolution? Right? We've all set them, whether it's been regarding our health, whether it's finances, or whatever type of goals that we want to set in life. It's, January 1st is like this magical first, brand new start, right? And so one of the things that I love to educate my clients about is just how to lose weight in a very smart and healthy way. And so with my company, Your Life Nutrition, it's a great way to partner with me, local dietitian, Cleveland born and raised. I went to Ashland University for my undergrad in dietetics and nutrition, and then I went to Case Western for my master's degree in nutrition. I actually teach there now, which has just been a blast, and I work as an inner city dietitian at a clinic there, and so it's just really an awesome way for me to just continue to work with people on weight loss, healthy eating, and just improved lifestyles, which is again another reason why I was really excited to partner with My Mindful Market, because that's their whole vision and mission. And so again, I just thank you all for coming to the workshop today. So we're going to talk about the smartest ways to lose weight, because we don't want to waste our time, right? If we're going to jump in and make some changes, we want to do it in the right way so that these can actually be lasting changes. Because at this time of year, we know the gyms are packed, right? Everyone's made the resolutions to get back to, exercise and healthy eating, and it seems like the produce section is popping right now because everyone knows they should be getting in more fruits and veggies. But let's make those changes last past 3 weeks into January, right? So let's learn how. So, the first thing that I want to ask you is, has anyone ever tried any sort of diet before? Right? Can you name one that maybe you've tried?
Atkins.
Keto.
Weight Watchers.
Weight Watchers. There's so many out there. I mean, the list goes on, and all of them kind of have these arbitrary food rules attached to them, right? So, on a certain diet, you may completely cut out a food group. And another diet, you have to buy their certain products in order to even follow the diet. And so when we think about these things, a lot of times they're completely putting themselves into a short-term, reality for you. Because these are things that you're not going to keep buying this product for years and years and years, right? That's going to be expensive and really hard to follow. If you completely cut out a food group, that's also not realistic, because at some point you're going to want that bread again. Or you're going to go out and you're going to have pizza. And so things like that can stop you from achieving your goals in that regard. So I really want you to start to think about completely ditching that diet mentality. Because when we talk about a diet, it's something you start and stop. It's not a lifestyle change, which is what I want us to focus on. So, why are diets bad? Because they can lead you to this starvation mode, right? So if we're completely ridding of certain things in our diet, maybe we're not even getting enough calories, which is another reason why it's really important to consult a dietitian, is because your body can end up in starvation mode. So if we think about our ancestors years and years ago who had to hunt and gather their foods, there were times where their body went into this starvation mode of, okay, when are you going to feed me? I'm hungry. And you can be angry and not very nice to other people, or hangry, right? And that starvation mode can even lead to a weight loss plateau. Because if we're not taking in enough, our body is now going to store and hold on to everything we have because it's afraid we're not gonna be fed again. Depriving can also lead to binging, right? Who's ever felt like they've been in this situation before? Right? You know, those foods that you're telling yourself, I'm not going to eat those, and all of a sudden, that's all you can see everywhere in life is that cake or that cookie or that bread that you just can't have. It can also slow down your metabolism. So just going along the same lines as that starvation mode is if our body is like holding on to everything we have because we're not nourishing it properly, that can lead to that plateau and slow down our metabolism. And at the end of the day, if we are trying to stick so hard to a diet and we just at some point mess up, we feel like we're a failure. And when you feel like a failure, number one, it turns your life into this negative mindset, right? And the other point is it just makes you want to feel like you completely give up, you know, all that progress you've made out the window. And then we're back to our old habits again, which is why it's important to focus on making habits that are going to last in the long term. And then the last thing I really want to point out is that eating disorders are serious. Diets can really lead an individual to fall into this completely restrictive mindset that can really be harmful. And so if you do have an eating disorder or you're concerned somebody else does, definitely seek your medical provider as soon as possible. So the perfect diet really doesn't exist, right? And the reason I say that is because there are so many diets out there, and I do have individuals that I worked with who have been very successful on following something like keto, or they've been really successful on following like a gluten-free diet. And the reason for that is because everyone's individualized. Everybody's body is different, everybody's body reacts to things differently, which is why people can end up with a sensitivity or a food intolerance. But at the end of the day, the diet that is going to work best for you is the one that you can stick to. And so again, I don't like the word diet, but at the end of the day, it's whatever you eat is kind of your diet, right? But when it's something that you can stick to for the long term, that's what's going to make it good for you. So it's not a diet, and it's not a phase in life, because again, if we go back to what we were doing before, we're just losing all that progress we made. So it's really a focus on a permanent lifestyle change. So we're going to talk more about how we can do that here. So one really cool concept that I learned a few years ago is actually based upon a book called The Blue Zones. Has anyone ever heard of The Blue Zones before? I got another dietitian back there who's heard of The Blue Zones. So we love talking about this in school. So it's a great book. If you've ever or if you're a reader, definitely check it out. They also have a really great website. The Blue Zones is actually a focus on these 7 pockets of the world with centurions. Centurions are people who live to be 100. And I was fascinated with this idea. It's kind of like a goal of mine to live to be 100, but a healthy 100, right? I don't want to be somebody who really can't do for themselves anymore at that age. But to live to be 100, I really want to know their secrets. Like, how do these people get to live to be that long? And one of the concepts came from the pocket of the world in Japan, where these people live to be 100, and they followed this really cool concept. And it is eating until you are about 80% full, or hara-hachi-bu, where they're really trying to focus on, I'm going to stop eating when I'm no longer hungry. Which I think Americans kind of get it wrong, because we stop eating when we're full, when we're stuffed, right? And we feel like that's normal and that's okay. But when we look at this pocket of the world, in Japan, they really are a thinner build, and they eat healthier and live healthier, and they really focus on that more mindful eating approach, where they're stopping eating when they're no longer hungry, when they're satisfied. So again, just kind of a way to think about when you're eating, how are you implementing this? So how do we put this into practice, right? So you may have heard in the media recently about mindful eating, and we're at Mindful Market, right? Which again is their approach to more mindful eating. So a way to really implement this in your life, number one, is eating slower. Who feels like they ever just scarf down their food and they're like, whoa, where'd that meal go, right? It can happen when maybe we wait until we're really just starving by the time we're going to eat, and then we just feel like we have to shove everything down our throat as fast as possible. So eating more slowly can really be beneficial. So putting down your fork in between bites, taking sips of water, engaging in conversation with other people versus staring down at your plate until all of your food is gone, right? All of those things can really help you to eat more slowly and allow your brain and your stomach to actually communicate when you are full and when you are satisfied, as opposed to eating so quickly. It really does take about 20 minutes for your brain and your stomach to communicate and to actually identify whether you're still hungry or not. So slowing down your eating can really help with that. Focusing on the food, we are in a screen-based society, right? We've got TV on while we're eating. We've got our face in our phone while we're eating. You know, we're trying to type on our computer or do work while we're eating. All those things can distract you. Our brain really can't multitask, although we like to think it can. And so trying to really make that food and that mealtime sacred, and trying to focus on what we're eating, all those flavors that we're enjoying, the texture of the food, and really just trying to make that time about the food as opposed to everything else we're trying to do at the same time can also help you be more mindful. And also using smaller vessels. So something we've recently done as a family at parties is having smaller plates, having smaller bowls. And we do that on a daily basis with our eating too, which can really make a difference in how much we load our plate. And so those little things can take less of an attention on the food itself and more on just practicing, you know, that more mindful eating. So kind of going along with that is watching our portions, right? So one thing to really help is trying to focus on how we are building our plate when we do. So trying to make half of our plate fruits and vegetables, or those non-starchy vegetables like broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, salad, green beans, things like that. Incorporating that into your meal already. Half of the plate is full, right? And we haven't even added the other things to it. So it automatically makes it a little bit easier for us to have smaller portions of the starch and the protein, which would be like a quarter each. And if you're at parties and things like that, trying to scoop the sides sparingly, treating them more like little islands on the plate as opposed to these big, massive, you know, mounds of food on there. And skipping the seconds. Like I said too, trying to really give your body that 20-minute time frame to see if we're still hungry or not. Because a lot of times we'll go up for seconds, we'll go up for more food before we even identified, before our body's given us the chance to say, stop it, I'm done, I'm good, right? And that's why we end up into this point of being so full. So again, this is the healthy plate method, or the healthy eating plate that I like to teach everyone. So water, water, water should be our main beverage. We got some awesome water back there. Make it fun and interesting by infusing it. They put some fruit in there today, which was great. So that can kind of give you a different taste as opposed to just plain water. If you're somebody who struggles to get in your 8 cups of water a day. Trying to focus on filling half your plate with the non-starchy vegetables also keeps you fuller for longer. It's lower in calories, and you're getting in that fiber, all those nutrients. And then a quarter of the plate should be protein. A quarter would be the complex carbohydrates, or those starches. Focusing on fruits and vegetables. Who would say they eat fruits and vegetables every single day? Awesome. Man, you guys are great group. And if you are eating them every day, maybe thinking about how much of those you are eating a day. Did you know that Americans should get 5 cups of fruits and vegetables every single day? Does this surprise you when I say only 1 in 10 Americans are actually getting that amount? Probably shouldn't surprise you, right? Otherwise, the produce section would be sold out every single day by noon, right? So it's really just a approach to remind yourself of how can I incorporate those every day. Trying to make sure that we have fruits and vegetables at each meal, having fruit on the table, making sure our refrigerator is stocked. We've got the stuff out, ready and available. At this time of year, I remind my clients that your car is basically a refrigerator. I mean, not today because it's 65, but in general, in the winter time, it's a great way to just keep stuff out there. After you've gone to the store, I encourage people to put a bag of apples in their car. You don't even have to take them in the house, right? Then you got a cold snack ready for you on the go. keep drinking water out there as well, works great. So trying to make sure that we're getting that, and a cup of fruits or vegetables would be about the size of my fist. So if we think about like 1 apple or 1 orange, that would already be 2 of your 5 for the day. So power of 5, trying to get those in. And really, let me ask you this question first. Do you think that frozen fruits and vegetables are not as nutritious as fresh? So that fresh is best, frozen is definitely worse when it comes to fruits and veggies.
I would think so.
You would think that fresh would be better?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment about that? No? You don't think so? Okay. Yeah?
As long as they don't have like added stuff in them, they're supposed to be picked at the peak of their freshness.
You got it. You've been around long enough now. My wonderful mom up here. So actually, don't be afraid of frozen. Really, frozen or canned, as long as there aren't additives to them, are actually picked at the peak of season. So at this time of year, a carton of blueberries is $6. I mean, that's ridiculous. But also, it's not fresh. It's not going to taste the same as the summer berries because we're in the middle of winter. The stuff is being shipped from across the world, right? So it's really important to remember that the frozen and canned items can actually be more economical, especially this time of year, as well as the fact that they are picked at the peak of season, so they're going to be higher in nutrition than the fresh stuff at this time of year. So really knowing and getting to know what's in season in your area is awesome. And it's a great way to be more economical when it comes to your grocery shopping and to get the most nutritious stuff you can. So when it comes to the canned items, making sure that it's not packed in any extra sugar or salt. Make sure the canned fruits are packed in its own juice and not in syrup. So I love this depiction because I think a lot of times people forget that calories could and should be kind of thought about as like a budget during the day, right? So when I get my teenagers in the room and they're like, oh, well, I had a burger and I had M&Ms and donuts today and then all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't even see where your calories are coming from, right? So then when we talk about, hey, most people would not say no to eating more, right? We love eating more. So especially when you include more fruits and vegetables, you really get to eat so much more throughout the day for the same amount of calories. And it's also important to think about too, when we are consuming more fruits and vegetables, where are those coming from? So one of the things on here that I want to point out would be something like smoothies or juices, because that is concentrated sugar and oftentimes can include a ton of calories without much in the way of nutrition, especially when it's bottled in the store. A lot of the fiber's taken out, but all the sugar stays in. So just being aware of that. But you get to eat more food for the same amount of calories, which is great. So eat more fruits and veggies. How do we eat more fruits and veggies? So here are some convenient things to remember. So make them convenient, right? If you're the type of person that you're like, okay, well, unless I buy broccoli that's chopped up, like it's not gonna happen, right? If whatever you needs to be prepared already in the bag, get it. You know, if you know that otherwise it's gonna stay in the drawer and it's gonna rot, then you know you gotta know yourself. So those convenience items, if they're cut up apple slices that you can just grab and go and that's what you need, then do it. Eat them to start the day. I always encourage my clients to make sure they're packing in some fruit in the morning. It's very portable, like a banana. Take it in the car on the go. Or even throw some spinach in your smoothie or throw it in an omelet, something like that. Having a vegetable like a salad or something like that right before you eat can also be beneficial to help fill you up a little bit before you eat the rest of your meal. Making them your snacks or a part of your snacks can be also a great idea. Like I said, not fearing the frozen stuff because it can be just as nutritious and cheaper. And adding some flavorings to your fruits and veggies especially can make them more palatable, more exciting. Who thinks they're getting the minimum amount of water every day? 64 ounces? That'd be about 4 water bottles, 4 typical size water bottles every day that come in a case, the 16 ounce. Okay, some of you. What else are we drinking during the day besides water?
Coffee.
Coffee. Oh, it's a must for me. Teas, juices, maybe other things like that. So really trying to make sure that we're getting plenty of water in every day is so important. Why? Because the brain sends the same signal for hunger as it does thirst. So what's our automatic reaction every time we think we're hungry? I'm hungry and I want some food right now. We don't think about trying to treat it with water first. So always trying to drink water before, during, and after your meals can help to make sure that we're actually giving our body what it needs, number one. Getting in our minimum water requirement every day would be number two. And to just make sure that we are staying fuller for longer, which is also a great idea. Now, if you're like, Brittany, I get in my 64 ounces, no problem every day. I'm like, good for you, that's awesome. Well, I'm gonna take it a step further now. And I'm gonna ask you to challenge yourself and drink half of your body weight in water. So that might seem like a tall task, but it's really not that bad. So if we take a 150-pound person, divide that by 2, be 75 ounces. So if the minimum requirement is 64, 75 isn't that much. So trying to, again, drink plenty of water every day can make sure you stay well hydrated. And the number one reason people end up in the hospital for a silly reason is dehydration. So nobody wants to be stuck with an IV for something that could have been prevented. So make sure you're getting plenty of water in every day. Like I said, if you need some flavoring, like adding some fruit to it or something like that, there's also stevia-based Crystal Light drinks that you can add those powders to your water. Those are always a great way to add in that hydration as well while flavoring it. One of the reasons that I see so many people struggle with losing weight in general is the sugary drinks. So they tell me, Brittany, I don't eat very much. And I'm like, well, I believe you, but you're still getting in plenty of calories to not be able to lose weight. So let's take a look, right? So if we start our day with some orange juice, we're already clocking in some calories there. Then we get that coffee drink on the way to work. Then we have a soda with our lunch. Then we have some fruit drink in the afternoon with our snack. We've got some sweet tea with dinner, and then we got a beer to watch the game at night. Easy way to clock in almost 1,400 calories just from beverages alone. And that is the calorie requirement for some females. So when we think about that, not even including the food, it's easy to see why those calories can really add up and halt our weight loss progress in the long run. So I know it's way easier said than done to completely cut out those types of drinks and stick to just water. That sounds great in theory, but it's difficult to do, especially when our taste buds have been used to drinking sugary type items, drinking the alcohol, things like that. Does anyone have anything that they've switched to when they've tried to drink more water?
Bubbly.
The bubbly, yeah, I totally forgot to mention, I'm a huge fan of those sparkling drinks. There's so many different types on the market, different flavors. Those can definitely make you get that carbonated beverage fix. So, great idea. Yeah?
Numa.
The Numa, yeah.
Numa.
Has anyone heard of Numa before? One of the new sponsors of Your Life Nutrition, and they are a healthier, like electrolyte drink, like a Gatorade. But they are using coconut water and stevia and some salt, and that's pretty much it, and their sports drink. So they have it up in the cooler up there if you want to take a sip. It's pretty good.
And they're out of Euclid too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they are. Local Cleveland company, so they're pretty awesome. Yeah, great. So some of the other things that I would suggest if you are trying to get away from the sugary drinks is definitely trying to go with unsweetened coffee or tea. Or using stevia or like monk fruit extract would be like more of a natural sugar substitute to add to your beverages if you're used to having a sweetener in it. Doing the infused water with cucumbers or apples or berries, that can always add some pizzazz. The carbonated waters like we mentioned. Now the diet or sugar-free drinks, I do have that up there as an alternative because I do work with a lot of individuals with diabetes or pre-diabetes, and when it comes to that, avoiding sugary drinks at all costs is so important because sugary drinks completely spike up your blood sugars all day long. So for this, I would say there's always a good, better, and best to do, right? So the good would at least be switching to a diet or a sugar-free alternative. The better would be to, get off of those. So, and the best would be to drink water. So, and then trying to maybe do lighter alcoholic beverages. You can always ask for less syrup or less of the juice added when you ask for a mixed drink. And even using smaller glasses if you're making drinks at home can all be those things to help trick yourself into thinking that you're having a full-size drink when you're not. So, who exercises? Anybody? Great. What do you guys like doing for exercise?
Yoga.
Yoga. Nice. I gotta try that still. Running.
Walking.
Strength training, walking. There's so many different things we can do, and this is definitely an area that I love technology because YouTube videos make it a completely no excuse zone for why we don't get an exercise, because there are millions of people on YouTube who post their videos for Zumba and yoga and Pilates and any type of exercise you would ever want to do or learn, you can find on there. The library is also a really awesome resource to get free DVDs, to do exercise at home. I know some of my clients love that walk off the pounds where you're literally walking in front of the TV and you do that for a half an hour. And if that's the way that you get exercise, especially at this time of year when, you know, fortunately this weekend we have nice weather, but in most occasions it's tough to get out a big chunk of the year due to weather. So if you're used to doing exercise outside, don't make that an excuse not to be active during this winter season. Definitely try and find a way to do that. The Cleveland rec centers are also free. So I know some of you do live in the Cleveland area. You do have to have like a Cleveland exact zip code. But then there's also, like I know, we live in Parma, and the Parma high schools actually opened up during the winter time to offer free swim, and that anybody can walk the halls as exercise. So, you know, try and find what excites you when it comes to exercise, what you think that you can continue doing, find a buddy to do it with, and maybe a gym membership where you know you're paying every month is the way that you're going to go because you want to get your money's worth, and that's totally fine too. So find what you get excited about. And now that we've talked about some of the nutrition and some of the exercise part, the whole reason that I want to talk to you today is really about setting goals, right? So it's cool, especially this time of year, that everyone's kind of on that mindset to set New Year's resolutions, set goals. We want to talk about how to set those goals, how to set ourselves up for success. So we can always think about, especially in regards to health, how maybe we set a performance-based goal, and then how we set a nutrition-based goal. So when it comes to goals, you can start thinking about, you know, how would you describe your diet right now? Is it mostly junk foods? Are you going out to eat a lot? Are you getting fast food? Are you relying on a lot of packaged and processed foods or sugary drinks? And are you doing anything for exercise? Maybe you are exercising some, but you want to do more. So one of the things that can really help you, maybe you've lost weight in the past and you were super successful and weight's kind of crept back on over the years. What worked for you before, right? History repeats itself. So if you feel like, you know, doing the portion controlled containers and buying those and packing your meals, that's going to work for you, try that again. That probably will work for you again if you liked that in the past. If you knew that going to this boot camp class twice a week got you, you know, in the gym and to losing weight, maybe think about restarting that again. So thinking about what worked for you before, and also figuring out your why. Why do you want to lose weight? I know a couple of my bridesmaids are like, I'm getting to the gym because I'm in your wedding in a couple months. And so, you know, finding something that's going to motivate you to lose weight. And maybe it's for your kids. Maybe you want to be active and be able to run around with your grandkids. Maybe you really want your blood work to improve the next time you go to the doctor. Maybe you want to get off medications. There are so many things that can improve with your health when you start eating better, not even just losing weight. And figuring out how committed you are, right? Maybe this isn't the time in your life that you are that motivated. Maybe you need to figure out how to get more motivated in regards to your health. And how can you be held accountable? The number one reason people are not successful, that people don't stay at a gym, that they don't stick with their eating habits, is because they don't have somebody cheering them on and making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, which is why I developed the accountability program with Your Life Nutrition. I have clients that I check in with on a weekly basis. I ask them how their goals are going, what worked well, what challenges they had, and we assess them on a weekly basis, because this is the way to get people to really stick to those things that they want to work on and to really reach their goals in the long run. Garrett, yes?
For the accountability part, I definitely think, like for me and Brittany, is the buddy system. And when it's funny because when she wants a crack, I'm there to say, hey, well, wait a minute, you know, what are you doing? And then I'll be like, oh, wait, but today I feel like eating this. And then she'll be like, no, wait, remember last time you told me you couldn't eat that? So now you can turn around and do that. So it's kind of cool when you have someone, you know, kind of as your safety net from really turning to things that you really don't want in your diet that you tell yourself, I'm not going to do it. But yeah, the accountability part, definitely having someone that, like you said, the accountability that someone makes sure that, you know, you don't fall off track, and that, I think that's a great way too, is, you know, especially even if you don't have like a significant other to do it with, just find someone else who has kind of the same goal.
Right.
And just kind of, even if it like workout buddy, that helps too. You guys can keep each other accountable. Definitely someone else that you got to answer to helps.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing your story, Garrett. And again, maybe it's not a spouse for you. Maybe it's a child. Maybe it's a coworker or a friend or somebody else that you see on a regular basis, or somebody, obviously with technology now, it's easy to connect with others. So find somebody who's really going to be in your corner and cheer you on, and make sure that you're sticking with your goals. So the whole title of today's workshop, The Smartest Ways to Lose Weight, is kind of going back to SMART goal setting. Has anyone ever heard of SMART goals before? Okay, awesome. So to refresh your brain and to inform you who haven't heard of SMART goals before, it is a way to set goals that's going to really help you to be successful in the long run. This is the way that I work with my clients to set goals, because it's focused on being specific, being measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-oriented when it comes to setting your goals. So let's walk through this. So when it comes to specific, we want to answer these types of questions. We want to answer, what do I want to accomplish, why it's important, who's involved, where do I need to go to do it, and what resources do I need in order to accomplish this goal. So we want to be extremely specific when we talk about setting a goal. So what do my clients say? Brittany, I want to lose weight. Okay, well that's really vague. That's awesome you want to lose weight, but let's break that down. Let's figure out how we're going to lose the weight. Let's figure out what specifics we want to name in our goal, right? So even just this more specific version of the goal, I want to lose 30 pounds in 2020, is much more specific than I want to lose weight. So being specific with yourself is going to help you assess your goal, assess your progress over time. So if I check in with you in a month, you could say, hey, I lost 4 out of my 30 pounds. Awesome. So now we can see and really track our progress. Next, again, would be measurable. Still going along that same mind with how much or how many or whatever we need to assess in that goal to be measurable. So one thing I also encourage a lot of my clients to do, especially in the beginning, is tracking what you eat and drink. And maybe it's not even about the calories, right? Maybe it's just about seeing what you're doing on a daily basis, because a lot of us are not mindful about what we're eating. We just put food in our body, and then by the next day, we can't even remember what we ate. And so it's important to try and get us on track in that way. But again, a goal that a lot of my clients come to me with is, well, I want to eat healthier. Well, eating healthier is not very specific and it's not very measurable. So let's break that down a little bit more, right? We focus on trying to eat more fruits and vegetables, right? So their new goal would be, I will eat 2 cups of fruit and 3 cups of vegetables each day. Much more specific and much more measurable than just I want to eat healthier, right? We talked about fruits, we talked about vegetables, we talked about how much. So again, that's why tracking can be a really great way to assess those goals. So when I meet with a client, we look through their food diary for the last couple of weeks, and I'm able to say, oh look, you got a banana there, and you got some spinach there, and so I'm able to assess their goal just from looking at that. Achievable. So, who has achieved things in life? It feels good, right? We're proud of ourselves. We want to tell other people, right? Maybe you got a good grade on a test. Maybe you got a new job, whatever it is, right? We are people who want to do things and accomplish things in life. So we always want to ask ourselves questions like, how can I accomplish this goal? And, you know, how realistic is this? Do I have the time, the resources to do this, right? So, instead of, I'll go to the gym 1 hour every single day when maybe you really don't have an hour every single day to go to the gym. Maybe it's not close by for you to go to the gym on those days. Maybe you work really late and you're tired afterwards. And so that's really not an achievable or realistic goal for you. You maybe want to reconsider that based on your time and resources. So instead, saying, I will go to the gym 2 weekdays and 2 weekend days for 1 hour. That might be a lot more achievable for you, right? So if we think about why we want to think about that achievability with our goal setting is so that we don't end up setting ourselves up too fast, right? We don't want to set ourselves a goal of going to the gym 1 hour every day. If we're not going to do that, then we're like, well, I suck. I can't make this happen. I can't go to the gym every day. No matter how much you want to, sometimes we just can't. We're only one person who has a lot of responsibilities. So it's setting yourself up, and then say you exceed that 2 days a week of going to the gym and 2 weekend days, and then you're like, you know what, I'm going to amp it up and add another day. Awesome, go you. Then you can really feel empowered to continue with that. So kind of similar with the whole achievability aspect is realistic. So does this goal seem worthwhile? Is it the right time? Are my priorities in order with everything else in life? That this is something that I can really do and it's time for me to focus on me. And then time-oriented would be the last one. So we're talking about like when, what can I do 6 months from now? And, what can I do 6 weeks from now? So it's thinking about how to set a short-term goal versus a long-term goal. So let's take a look at that. So a short-term goal would be, I would like to lose a pound per week for the next month. So that's a short-term goal. So if I check with you in 30 days, we can look at how much weight did you lose? Well, I lost 5 pounds. Oh my gosh, you lost more than a pound a week. That's amazing. So we did set that time-oriented goal. Then we can also talk about setting long-term goals. And some people really need to focus on that short term because that's what they can keep their mind focused on. And some people are like, nope, I got this. I can set a longer-term goal and I'll remember it and I'm good. So you gotta know yourself too. And I can definitely help you focus on that when we work together. So longer term goals would be like, I want to lose 30 pounds by August of 2020. So again, that is a longer term goal and something that is still very specific and time oriented. So on those handouts too, I did talk you through about how to set your own goals. So I encourage you, whatever kind of goal you're trying to set for yourself, whether it's exercise or eating or finances, who cares? Set yourself a very smart goal. So I hope you take advantage of that worksheet there. The other thing that research is showing now that really helps people be successful with their goals is I can't talk, that's a hard word, visualization. Or functional imagery training is what's identified in the research, so FIT. So when it comes to this functional imagery training, it's mentally rehearsing and preparing yourself for actually following through with these lifestyle changes, for actually going out and achieving your goal. And it's kind of goes through that whole quote, like if you can see it happen, you can actually achieve it. When we talk about that, this actually increases your motivation, increases your confidence because you're walking yourself through doing it. And it can turn your intentions into action. So I'll just give you an example. So I was a competitive swimmer in high school, and we actually did this visualization before our big competition at the end of the season. And our coach would have us all sit down and close our eyes, and he would walk you through the whole day of you're going to wake up, you're going to eat a good breakfast, you're going to get on the bus, you're going to have fun with your team, you're going to get to the meet, and you're going to warm up, you're going to feel fast, you're going to hydrate, you're going to get in, you're going to get off the block, and the timer is going to start, and you're going to swim your fastest, you're going to kick hard. All of those things help get you excited, help you really think about, okay, what do I need to do throughout the whole day in order to achieve that goal of breaking my best time, getting my personal record for the season. So that just really can help you to focus on what you actually have to have in order, to achieve your goals. So maybe it's as simple as I really want to wake up tomorrow morning and work out before I have to go through my day. So what do I need to do? Okay, I need to make sure that my laundry's done, so I have my workout clothes ready. Do I have my shoes out? Do I have my socks out? Do I have a quick breakfast that I'm gonna munch on the way to the gym? Or maybe I'm gonna make sure I have a water packed in my bag. All of those things can make sure that you are setting yourself up for success. So, when we talk about doing that visualization, we want to use all of our senses. We also want to remember like why we want to do those certain things and what we're going to feel coming out of it, right? So, you know, when it comes to exercise even, it's like you never regret a workout you do, right? You only regret the ones that you don't do. And it's remembering how good you feel after you leave the gym. You feel accomplished, you're maybe sweaty, but it feels good. Maybe you feel like good soreness. And so those things can really help you to just be more excited about actually following through with those things. At the end of the day, we just really want to be specific with ourselves, because the more specific we can be, we actually start to identify our own challenges and barriers. Because again, if we're like, oh, well, I need to make sure I have gas in my car to get to the gym tomorrow, or I need to make sure that I have those tennis shoes. Crap, I left them at work the other day. You know, those things can again just remind you of those things that you have to do. And just picturing yourself accomplishing these goals at the end of the day also gets you really motivated to want to achieve them. So maybe you're imagining yourself at your goal weight. You're super excited to get to that this year and you want to fit in those little jeans again. Maybe you're really excited to run your first 5K. I remember when I was getting my dad into running, he's like, you're crazy, I don't want to run, this sucks, this isn't fun. And then we did our first race together, and like I just loved the expression on his face when we crossed the finish line, and he was super happy that he just reached his goal. So remembering why you want to do those things, how great you're going to feel when you accomplish that, can all just help you stay on track. And also remembering how good you feel on those good days, right? You know, you love when you get to the gym, you love when you've maybe tracked all of your meals, or you've eaten really healthy all day, and then you get to that day where everything seems to be a roadblock, right? Where, like, you know, you get to work late, or you forgot your running shoes, and so you can't work out after work, or whatever the case is, you want to remember how good you feel on those good days to help continue to motivate you. Because you know what? Not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day maybe we eat super healthy like we want to, or get to the gym, but it's remembering that this should not cause us to backslide. Tomorrow's a new day, or the next hour's a new hour, you know? Just make your goals happen as much as you can, and this is also going to help boost your confidence, and this is another reason why the accountability partner is important. So when we put it all together, remember there's no perfect diet unless it's one that you can really follow and stick to. Using the healthy plate method to fill half your plate with fruits and vegetables, that's going to help you to really just stay fuller for longer. Drinking more water, make that a goal if you're not reaching your 64 ounces a day right now. Moving more. Everybody could afford to move more. Maybe it is going and taking a walk on your break at work. And just being smart about how you set your goals and keeping them visible for yourself. Put them on a mirror, you know, keep them in your car, keep them on your phone. I love putting my goals on a sticky note right on my mirror that I can remember to look at that each day and say, hey, that's what I'm working on. You know, and sharing those goals with other people in your life who you know are going to help you move along with that. And visualizing yourself. Visualizing yourself carrying out those different healthy habits that you want to implement, and visualizing yourself actually achieving those goals that you want to. And I just want to thank all of our sponsors for Your Life Nutrition, who just make my work possible. And I want to thank my Mindful Market for everything that they've done to have this awesome event today. And I encourage you all to go out and shop afterwards, because they have some really great things. I loved the very first time I came into Mindful Market, they knew their products inside and out. I asked them, hey, what's in this? Oh, and they rattle it off before I could even finish my sentence of all the ingredients in their products. And the other reason why it's so easy for them to do that is because most of their ingredients are most of their products contain less than 10 ingredients. which is awesome because we want to make sure that we are eating things that's not packed with chemicals and preservatives that just, a lot of them are not good for us. So a couple of things that I consider Brit's picks, right? That I love out there. They have awesome homemade peanut butter. They've got their peanut butter machine right behind you. They're making it in-house. It's awesome. And then they also have, this is like the big thing they're known for, My Mindful Market sells Mindful Bites. So these are really good. They come in different flavors. One I was actually really surprised that I liked was a Thai peanut. So it's kind of like the savory version of their little bites. They're like little square granola bites almost. And so they've got tons of samples out there. They've got samples in the back for you to try. So I highly encourage you to get them. The other reason I love these is because these are all portion controlled. And so one of these little packages is 110 calories. Decent amount of fiber and protein because they use peanut butter and they use the oats. So I think it's awesome. They're using only natural sweeteners like sugar, or not sugar, I'm sorry, they're not using sugar. They're using honey and maple syrup, and they don't add salt to their products either. So I'm a huge fan of what they're doing here and trying to implement healthier snacking in Cleveland. They're also found in the Cleveland Airport and the Whole Foods in Rocky River. They're growing rapidly, so keep your eye out for these, especially when you're traveling to get a healthy snack, because I know that those are sometimes difficult to come by. So that is what I have for you today, and I would love to open it up for any questions. Anybody? Yes, Garrett.
More of a comment. Back to you're talking about like technology helping people with different workouts and keeping them on track. One thing that my cousin actually did was the Peloton app.
Oh,
Now he actually didn't buy like the bike. It's just a workout app. I think it's 15 or 20 bucks a month. But him and his wife actually each lost almost 50 pounds in 2 months doing it.
Oh my goodness.
Almost 50 pounds.
That's
When they were
awesome.
getting really big, they got kids and they kind of just let their health slide by. You know, obviously made the kids a priority. But then they said, hey, it hit a point where we got to get ourselves back in shape. So they tried the Peloton. It's not just the app. They can actually buy the bike. It's just a $20 a month app. And yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. Almost, I think my cousin was 46 pounds and his wife lost 48 pounds.
Awesome.
In almost
That's
8
great.
weeks. I mean, in July, they were huge.
Yeah.
And now they're like, they're literally as skinny as I am.
Yeah.
It was just the Peloton.
Yeah. And I think that just goes back to a couple things that we discussed in today's workshop is finding what works for you, right? So clearly they love biking, which is awesome. So finding that, and the way that technology is so helpful. There are so many exercise apps out there. So if that's something that's going to help you, I know a couple of my clients love that there's this app that just gives them a completely different workout every day because they need variety. They're like, I can't go to the gym and go on the elliptical every day. Just not going to happen, not exciting, not motivating. And then they can do it in their own homes. So I think that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Yes.
I have a question about insurance. Does insurance pay for any nutrition counseling?
It really depends on your specific insurance. I think insurances are getting better about covering preventative health care. So I would definitely check into your insurance and see what benefits you have. Any other questions? Yes.
Do you already have some SMART goals set aside for 2020?
Do I have some SMART goals? That's a great question. Yes, I am all about goal setting. So one of mine is getting more sleep because who couldn't afford to get a couple extra hours, right? So my goal is to get more sleep. But again, that's not a SMART goal, right? So how did I make that into a SMART goal? Well, trying to get 7 hours of sleep every night just isn't really realistic for me, and especially starting out, I'm like, I don't want to set myself up to not feel like I can't accomplish this. So my goal is to get 7 hours of sleep 4 out of 7 nights a week. So I figure, okay, weekend, that's already 2 out of my 4 days. Okay, then that's just 2 other days. So, and then if I assess my goal, at the end of this month and say, hey, I'm already getting those 4 days, great, let me bump it up and let's do 5. So again, setting yourself up to be smart instead of I want to sleep more, very big. Yes.
And isn't there research that supports getting more sleep with weight loss and achieving your goals?
Absolutely. I ask every single one of my clients, how are you sleeping? If you're not sleeping, weight loss can definitely be an issue. Your hormones are completely regulated by how well you sleep, how much energy, you know, your body has to put into the fact that you're tired, you know, and it kind of goes into this overdrive, and your hormones can be out of balance, which can definitely lead to stalled weight loss progress. So, great point. Yes.
I know a lot of people that have gone on to diets or trying to change, go into more healthy eating, complain about bland. It's, you know, they don't like eating all that stuff. Any suggestions on making things more flavorful or different variety, anything like that?
Absolutely. Well, I know we have a chef in the room, so I hope that I'm saying good things. I know we got a couple chefs. So one of the things that I would definitely say is using seasonings, and it doesn't mean that it has to be salt either. Herbs and spices and garlic. Garlic's my fave. All of those things can really help to flavor your food without even adding the salt to it. And so making sure that you're adding seasonings that you like can be huge. Condiments, as long as they're still on the healthy side, can be a way, you know, to make sure that we're eating healthfully. I know one huge difference in just even going from steaming broccoli in the microwave to roasting it on a sheet pan and putting it in the oven. I mean, that broccoli's gone, you know, like you don't have to ask people to eat more of it because they will, as opposed to doing the steam. So I think preparation and seasoning goes a long way with that. I know a lot of people with how big air fryers have gotten. Air frying pretty much anything makes it great. And so if you haven't had an air fryer or you're thinking about getting one, it's definitely an awesome investment. We just got one and I'm a big fan. So you can also follow me on social media. I'm posting healthy food recipes every single day. I'm posting things that I'm doing, and I'll tell you what not to do so that you don't make the kitchen mistakes that I do. So, yes.
What's the average amount of time you think that someone actually sticks to their New Year's resolution diet?
Well, the research shows like 10 days.
Is it really? I'd say
Yeah.
like a month maybe, but no, 10 days.
No, I mean, it's pretty pathetic. Yeah, I mean, think about it. And again, this goes back to not setting smart goals.
Right.
Is that people set themselves up to, you know, go to the gym every single day and eat salads every single day for lunch, and you know, just do these very unrealistic things for them. And when you're going from like one extreme to the other, your brain and your body don't really like that. So making like taking baby steps along the way really helps, for sure. And that's why working with a dietitian can just be really helpful in meal planning and guiding along those processes. Because I know there's a lot of times where I tell my clients, whoa, okay, that's a little bit of a hefty goal. Why don't we like reconsider some of that? Because I don't want people to get frustrated with their progress. So, but yeah, research shows 10 days. And it takes 21 days to really break old habits and start new ones. So
Which is why it doesn't work out.
exactly, they're not even giving themselves enough time. So yeah. Any other questions?
How long
Yes.
does it take to reset your blood sugar, given the fact that you're willing to do some that?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So I mean, we can see shifts like that within like 2 weeks. So if you are trying to remove all like refined sugars from your diet, removing sugary drinks and things like that with repeat blood work, I mean, we've seen drastic changes within 2 weeks. I think it depends on how, you know, how severe your condition is and how
Well, yeah, I
disciplined
mean,
you are.
realistically,
So,
yeah.
sure, yeah. So really, it really just depends, but really focusing on that helps a lot.
More lower.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk more after if you have more questions. Yes.
One other suggestion I have that I've been doing the last couple of years is I have a reminder in my phone every day to force myself to think of a non-scale or weight loss victory, because sometimes it just helps turn your mindset around just to think of someone, even though I have repeat comments, just that it, you know, brings you back to, okay, I did something right today.
So we have what's called NSV, or non-scale victory, and I love to focus on those every day with my clients, because there's so much that we do regarding our health that we may not see the change on the scale, right? Maybe it's improved blood work. Maybe we have more energy. Maybe we're sleeping better. Maybe we're just, you know, our skin cleared up because we're not eating as much sugar. There's so many different things that can change about your life, not just the number on the scale. And so it's good to not just completely focus on that, because it can make us more negative, and it helps with the positivity to tell yourself every day, well, these pants didn't fit, you know, last month, and now they do. This is fantastic. So that's a great comment. Thank you. Well, I thank you all again for coming today. It's been awesome to see you. If you didn't sign in, please do. I just want to keep track of who was here today, and it's great that you came, because 10% off services for anybody who came today. So feel free to catch me after or email me and let me know that you came today, and I'd be happy to give you a discount for any future nutrition services. We do have t-shirts for sale for $9, and we have little awesome stickers for $2. So if you're interested in getting one of those, let me know. Follow us on social media so you can keep up with what future events we have, and for all the great recipes and nutrition tips that you can find. And you'll also get enrolled into my email list, which I send out 1 email a week. I promise I'm not going to bombard you with emails. And again, it just is going to keep you up to date with future events that we have going on. And I love to give you just different nutrition posts that can help you along the way with your goals. Yes?
What is your next event? Just so everybody knows.
Our next event is actually going to be this exact presentation at Tremont Athletic Club on February 1st. So if you want other people to see everything that you learned today and see what this was all about, please let them know. That's also going to be a free event, and is on my social media pages coming soon. So thank you for that. And hopefully another one with my Mindful Market, so stay tuned. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks so much.